This is Magnum CK, and as long as you're listening to Wrestling Cheers, you will be sports entertained!
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially if you love the production. This is Wrestling Cheers. We like to talk about things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a review show for last week's AIW show, 7 Year Itch. And I am your host. I am Justin Summers, formerly known as, or also known as, to however you want to look at it, Heavy Set. We are brought to you by the Trending Topics Network, Midwest Territory, and Key on Sports. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose a desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, and we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like I said, we will be reviewing last week's AIW show, 7 Year Itch, and it's not just me on the show. This week I am joined by Rick.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. We got a lot of wrestling shows coming up, a lot of wrestling shows behind us. There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, it's a lot to look forward to, and I'm having a good time. I don't know about y'all.
But the question is, are you ready?
Oh, you ain't ready. You know you ain't ready.
Who ain't we ready for?
Oh, for Razor.
Yeah.
Razor Sharp.
True.
As the quest to get him in the Gauntlet for the Gold continues.
Do we need a hashtag for that?
Oh, I don't know. I think we have a pretty good inside track that the groundswell is getting larger.
Yeah.
I mean, we just found out this week, it was revealed between all the folks I got working at my warehouse that Razor Sharp was indeed the man who lost to Pat Patterson in the finals of the first Intercontinental Tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
A lot of these Razor Sharp facts coming out, and obviously all of them 100% true.
Should we start an account, Razor Sharp Facts?
I don't think it could be anywhere as good as the Billy Gunn Facts account that I like to follow.
Billy Gunn Facts, Chuck Norris Facts, I know, Kurt Hawkins Facts.
I do like the Distinguished Gentleman Nick Gage, or Cultured Nick Gage, or whatever it is. I like that account too.
Oh, yeah. Not really an AIW note, but see, fucking Stokely Hathaway got signed?
I saw that, and the boys were kind of marking out a little bit. Philly Collins was pretty excited about it. Some of the other guys around, I am ashamed to say it, and I will definitely admit it. I don't know much of Stokely Hathaway. I don't travel a whole lot for shows, and I guess I'm just a little behind the times. But I don't know if this guy, if they're signing him to be a wrestler, if they're signing him to be a mouthpiece, if what it is. But I have it on good authority that he's somebody to watch out for. So I like that.
I think I've seen him more than once, because I think I saw him at Evolve at WrestleMania weekend, because he's done Evolve, he's done Ring of Honor, he's done stints at Alpha One and a bunch of other companies. He's like the most well-known manager on the independent scene. And the first show that Wrestling Cheers sponsored for Southern Underground Pro, I Am King, he had a match versus Mr. Brickster. And that was the first time me seeing him live and like kind of interacting with him a little bit. I was kind of sad that I didn't get a picture with him. I've always been just intrigued by the dude. He seems to be the manager version of MJF, where he always has something witty. He's like, there's so much to him, like on Twitter and everything. So I'm completely happy for the dude. But it was like when it was announced, like I think I saw someone like just a tweet about it. I'm like, oh, whatever, haha, Stokely Hathaway in WWE. And then I see the picture and I go, holy fuck, this is true.
Well, it was kind of a weird, because the tweet that I saw was him and Robbie E were the two guys that I recognized, at least, that were. Yeah. So it very well could have just been somebody throwing out a joke tweet, Robbie E and Stokely Hathaway, but it turns out to be 100% factual.
All right, let's get into this show. And before we start, that was something we touched on last week. Did you meet Billy Gunn? Not Billy Gunn. Billy Kidman, bro. We mentioned Billy Gunn earlier.
I did not meet Billy Gunn. I did not meet Billy Kidman either. Nothing against Billy Kidman, just not my not my era. I guess I was a Kidman fan, but I was like a WCW, Ravens flock kind of Kidman. But I did pass on this one. I'm sorry to say.
As did I. Thought about it. A little bit of cash that I did have, which I forgot to mention on the show. But I would say going forward, but I'm not going to be at an AIW show until Gauntlet for the Gold. But we are selling pint glasses. Still selling those. Still have, I don't know how many exactly I have left, but pint glasses and beer koozies. Selling them as a set. Don't want to sell them separately. I feel like most people want the pint glasses, and even in my head, I figured $10 was a fair price. So throwing in the beer koozies should be good for everybody. But all the money that I've been having in my pocket came from selling those, and then I end up buying Girl Scout cookies with most of them.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Girl Scout cookies, and also like fundraiser donuts that were sold at a local school. Had exactly enough money to cover both, and that wasn't my target. I was like, oh, well, fine, we have all this now. The only even thing I walked out with was the Danhausen mask, but I prepaid for that.
Yeah.
Which I would suggest anybody support the dude. They're probably really cheap for him to make. It's a weird way for him to make money, and it's something that is handmade, which we don't see as much. I think there's really only two things that I can think of right now that people are selling, and the other one's PME's Nasty Boys inspired shirt that they just make themselves.
Yeah, little splatter print they get going.
Yeah. Other than that, you're not going to find as many things that are homemade like that. So he had this great idea, and he'll even do custom masks. So it's a great way to support a great dude. So yeah, that's I think the only thing I walked out of. That was it.
Yeah, it was a light show for me. There's a lot of stuff coming up, and I am going to Mania weekend. I'm not going to Mania. AIW is pretty much the main show, the main reason I'm going. And then I've never been to WrestleCon, so I'm kind of excited about that. And I've heard that you can spend a lot of money very quickly there if you are so inclined.
Yeah, when I went, I know I kind of had a set limit of what I wanted to spend, but there was a point that I was like, all right, I got to go out to the ATM and bust out a little bit more money. I think that might have been to meet. It was either to meet Drew McIntyre or Noelle Foley.
Okay. Either one worth the trip to the ATM.
So I know, because that was the last day I was there, and even something we talked about before we were recording. I didn't go for a lot of the big ticket people because I already met Brett and Sean. Those are my top two favorites, and everybody else was like, if I can meet them, cool, but I'm not paying $200, $300, $400 to
convention prices.
Though this weekend I was just looking at this is nuts. Kiss is coming to Cleveland.
Okay.
And I won tickets fucking months ago, so I'm really excited to go, and I decided to pull up the website today. And I was like, let me look at other tickets that are available, and they had on their website we have VIP packages, and then they have the ultimate VIP. Guess how much? Yeah. Guess how much one ultimate VIP ticket is?
Four digits, easy.
Yeah, but where in those 4 digits?
Oh, 2,500.
6,500.
Does that include the Kiss coffin? I mean, what are we talking here?
I can't remember all the things that were in it, but it's like you get a personal like VIP tour of like a lot of the backstage shit. You get to go on, you can go on stage. I don't think you go during the show. You go before the show for all this stuff. And there's like personal meet and greets and all this. It's something that, if you're a big Kiss fan, I can understand why you'd spend $6,500.
Yeah,
I was just curious because they had VIP packages. Those were all, I think they were all in 4 digits. Like the lowest one was 1,000. And then I saw that like it went up to like maybe 2,500. And I'm like,
Gene Simmons is a hustler.
Fuck yeah. And I got this farewell tour is going to be like 3 years long, but all right. Freaking, I saw like the highest one was for just the regular VIP, and I already had seen that they have the Ultra VIP. And that was like 2,000. And I was like, all right, what the fuck's the top? I didn't even more than 2,000. That's why I feel
like you're going to a fire festival.
That's why I had
they just keep adding more and more VIP packages.
That's why I had to look up the what the price for the Ultra VIP was and what it cost. And like you get to watch the concert from the pit.
Okay, that'd be kind of sweet.
Yeah. So I'm not spending the money on it, but
no.
Yeah, like basically, like that shit can get very, very expensive, with WrestleCon and shit. But I think it's fun. It's kind of cool to even walk around there once or twice and see people. Even the last time I was there, the female WWE referee was there, but that was right before she got signed.
Yeah,
and I had like followed her career a little bit because she did brief stint or just basically one match in PWO here locally. And then, like, I'd watch as her career just kept progressing. Like, she left her Maryland home area, went down to Florida to train with the Dudleys and go to their school, and then she ended up getting shots in Ring of Honor and all this shit. I'm like, pulled her aside. I'm just like, hey, well, pulled her aside, but I met her, didn't get a picture, didn't get an autograph. I was like, I just want to say I've been following your career for a couple of years, and it's always cool to, like, see how much you progress and, like, all these opportunities you get. And then a fucking year later, she's at WWE as a ref. Fucking nuts.
Yep. Yeah, we were looking through the list today at work, and it's just even seeing the people that are going to be left. There's 5 or 6 people already, and it says appearance canceled by WWE, appearance canceled by WWE. All these people that are either getting signed or like Tori Wilson pulled for the Hall of Fame and things like that. So
wow, Access is kind of fun to go to, but I don't know. Like I went on the day of WrestleMania, which I know you guys are leaving that day. And it wasn't as bad as I think it's supposed to be, but then again, there really wasn't anybody there. Because
I plan on being in my home on my sofa. Mania starts, and I will watch it like a civilized human being on the television, the way God intended it to be watched.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm either doing that, or I'm going to go down to the ringside guys, or now...
Brock.
Yeah, Well, I was going to give the plug for the tailgate guys.
Yeah.
Because he's doing a cookout and everything. And I'm like, with my new job, I have to wake up at like 5 a.m. I'm not very good at that. So I'm like, I might come. Or like, he even says, he's like, hey, if you come for like a little bit of it, like, you can still do that too. And I'm like, oh, like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I love barbecue, so yeah. All right, I don't know whether you know this or not, but we have like a card to go over.
We have a card?
Yeah, we have a card to go over.
Oh, yeah, there was a thing, wasn't there?
There was a thing.
We had one of those shows.
Yeah. So, I mean, much like a lot of shows, there are a lot of unannounced matches, and we started off with one. We had Wheeler Yuta versus Facade versus the returning AJ Gray versus Trey Lamar versus Donovan Danhausen and versus Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. Also, quick plug, if you go to Wrestling Cheers YouTube page, I took all the Instagram stories from the show, put them in one big video, and there was a handful of videos that I took that weren't a part of those Instagram stories. Like, I have Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham being covered with toilet paper. What you didn't see, people learn when to throw the fucking toilet paper.
This is the worst. This is the worst.
I don't know what happened. There's some people that might have got toilet paper that weren't used to it. And
yeah, probably.
With it being the opening match, I forgot to pass them out. So it was quickly here, pass them down. Ugh. And there were some that didn't even get used and that were used later on in the night.
Yeah, we saved ours.
Yeah. So like, when he got in the ring, kind of like what everybody does, you know, they come out and they kind of like pose in a little bit of ring, and that's what Dan did, and people started throwing it. It was like, no, we never do this. We never do this. What the fuck? But we still there was still a good video of the second attempt, the real attempt of throwing toilet paper on him. So
yeah, it's you don't throw the toilet paper until Steve Guy says Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and then the toilet paper is allowed to fly. It's not a difficult concept. Just come on, people, get with the program.
Yeah. So we started off with this match. Fun match to start off with. A lot going on. But it was Danhausen winning via the Cradle DDT. And that's also in the YouTube video. But what did you think about this match?
I was happy to see everybody. I'm glad to see AJ Gray back. We haven't seen him in a while, it feels like.
Since the Winchester.
Yeah, maybe with the the winter and the shows starting to get spread apart, it just feels longer than it really was. I thought Dr. Dan looked good. We had a little new sequence by Dr. Dan, him trying out some new stuff. I thought it all went over really well. I thought it was really cool that the Danhausen got the win. I'm kind of excited to see what we're going to do now with Danhausen being the lead of, the 3-man production. So I don't know where we're going, but I like the fact that it was Danhausen who got the win.
Yeah, Danhausen and everything like going on with the production. There was that, not necessarily a promo, but that video that AIW took of Magnum CK talking to Derek, Danhausen, and Eddie. And I don't know, just that Danhausen walking up to Magnum and just going and walking away. Like, I've loved Danhausen ever since he came to the AIW, but like he just keeps getting better and better and more fun as time goes on. Also, I think it was in this match we had a fan on our side of the ring get hit in the head, as I think maybe Facade went over the barricade.
Oh, yeah, I was on the opposite side from you guys. I didn't see this.
I got a brief video of it, but it was like as other shit was going on. So it was like watching in the ring. I turn over really quick, watch as someone goes. I think as Facade goes over the barricade, you might be able to see the woman in the front row just kind of gets hit in the head a little bit, and everybody kind of like rushed over, like what's going on. But as that was going on, like I just turned back to the ring because there was just so much shit going on.
Yeah, you got it front row, head on the swivel.
Yeah, the stories of just being in front row and having like crazy shit like that happen to you.
Yeah, I got at an AIW show, I got my toe broken by Joey Janela because I was an idiot.
I can't remember, it was Candace versus, it might have been Joey, but Candace is doing like a crossbody and her foot hits me right in the chest as I'm taking a video. Like, I think there's a tweet out there somewhere, and that's back when we were the Highway Indie Report, but like, you see it and then you just see the camera go because I get hit in the chest. All right, move on to the women's match. We had Alley Cat versus Alex Garcia. And
Gracia.
That's what
Alex
I knew.
Gracia.
This was another match, 2 in a row, where we planned to throw cat toys. And again, I think people gave her cat toys.
Yes, on the way around.
Why? You throw them. I noticed that when she got around to our side. I was like, why does she have them? You're supposed to throw them in the ring, like. At
that point, she already had 2 paws full of cat toys.
Yeah. Now the next thing I think would be funny, depending on which show, I mean, this would be good for Wrestle Rave probably, is laser pointers.
And nip.
Ooh, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, especially for, like a rave kind of situation. Laser pointers and catnip.
But I was thinking laser pointers for that, but this would be really expensive. You know how now she's doing the thing where she goes around ringside as she's coming out and she wants people to like scratch her head?
Yeah, I love it.
Imagine if instead like that, everybody had like some of those cat toys that are just something on a pole on a string. So,
yep.
But those aren't cheap. I mean they can be kind of cheap, but you're going to spend a couple dollars.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start to put lists together when people are on shows that are like when this person is on the show, we do this. When this person is on the show, we do X and Y. Because I just don't think about it. Honestly, I get to show day, and I'm happy if I've got everything I need in the car and I get there on time. That's about all the pre-thought I have nowadays.
Yeah. We also have Space Monkey.
Oh, yeah. And bananas. See, I never remember bananas either.
Those, with being a little more expensive, those are harder to remember. Even with Dr. Dan, like, I forget half the time. But I went on a limb this time and bought some, just in case. Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, he's not in a match. Save it for next show.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you're ever not going to need toilet paper, so.
I've talked about on the show, I don't really use toilet paper. I use wipes.
Yeah. I'm a wipe guy. I hear you. So but I got little kids in the house too, so. Yeah.
Cool thing with this show, and I love any AIW show that's like this, where there's a dollar store really close by.
Oh, yeah. It should be a rule that all AIW shows are either next to a dollar store or someplace like a Sheetz.
Yes, yes.
Someplace where like alcohol is readily accessible, food is, and toilet paper. Just, the three essentials.
Because I know with this show, on my way there, I forgot toilet paper and I forgot cat toys. I'm like, there has to be a dollar store. And there was a Dollar General like right down the road.
Yep.
So I pulled in there, bought what I needed, and came back.
This one, you had a whole grocery store next door. I think a Mark's across the street as well.
Yeah. I always go Dollar General because like you're almost, or some sort of dollar store, because you're guaranteed to find the dollar things of toilet paper.
Yes.
Because I'm not spending big money. I did that once, and Eric Ryan wanted to take it all home.
No, Dr. Dan is not worth 2-ply.
Yeah. So, it was, I mean, didn't talk much about this match, but Alley Cat won via power driver. I don't know, not much can say about this match in my opinion. Alley Cat is kind of one of the dominant female wrestlers we have. She's going to be at the next show too.
Yep. Alley Cat's getting to take kind of that spot that Britt Baker had, where, for a while, when you thought AIW and you thought female, she was one of the first names that Britt was one of the first names that came to mind, and now you're starting to think Alley Cat more and more. I know John said on the podcast that he basically just booked Gracia because of gifts. Mm-hmm. And I'd never seen her before, and it was nice to see her, but there wasn't a whole lot that I remember about this match. Just in a bad spot too. Second, right after a 6-way scramble. It's always hard to follow a 6-way scramble.
Next up, we had Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. We had PME versus Duke Money versus The Production versus the Jollyville Fuckets. Having that women's match like right in the middle of the scramble and this 4-way where both matches just had a mess of stuff going on at once. I love the tag team division right now in AIW because we have these 4 teams. We still have obviously the champions, and there's still plenty more that can come in or is considered part of the roster.
Sure.
And maybe not too surprising, frickin' PME picked up the victory on a massive winning streak in AIW.
Yeah, and as they deserve to be. Probably the most over tag team that we have.
I heard a fellow AIW fan say online that PME might have had one of the biggest pops of the night, and I'm like, or he actually said probably, and I'm like, probably?
Yeah, there's no probably. The pop that they get coming out, the winning pop, and then later on, they get it from everybody. You got the kids, you got the ladies, you got the men. Everybody loves PME.
But who in AIW gets those pops? Like, to me, like those pops that PME gets, they're like the special guest pop.
They're like 90. They're like you start hearing 99 Problems pop.
Yeah. Or like a Johnny pop towards the end, like maybe that last night that he was in AIW. But yeah, PME is just, they're one of the most over tag teams, I think, locally. And I'm not even just talking about AIW. I've seen, and I've said this before, I've seen them debut in a couple different areas, and they were over instantly with people who had no idea who they were.
Yeah, these guys they're getting good traction. expanding out PA and New Jersey into Indiana. They were just, I think their first Black Label show this last weekend. Mm-hmm. So, the guys are in demand, and that's good. They're both great dudes. They work hard. They train hard, and nobody has anything negative to say about them. And they're students. I think they're always wanting to learn a little more and always trying to get a little bit better. And Cleveland's that kind of, it's overused, but that blue collar where we like the folks that are kind of self-made, and we like the folks that work hard, and it's I think that kind of defines them.
Yeah, that's a great way to put them. And then with this tag team division too, you still have the production on the rise. Jock and Mance are always able to win any match, and then the Fuckets are a tag team that they're former tag team champions, but since their return have not returned to that glory, but they're still widely loved and still just as dangerous. And I think that's what sets the tone about them. And this, like I said, that kind of describes the division within this match.
Yeah, Jollyville kind of reminds me of the last incarnation of the Dudley Boys when they came back to the Fed.
Yeah.
They were back just to work with young guys, to get more out of people. And I think the boys from Jollyville do that very well.
It really sucks when they disappeared for a couple years. And as some of us fans are just kind of wondering, where the fuck are the Fuckets? And even them, they weren't wrestling as much. But coming back, I think they've come back strong. They've just, I don't want to say they've lacked, but, without another tag team title victory. I mean, they got close to it was the Double Dare. Second one, obviously, because they won the first. But, like I said, PME picking up the pinfall victory.
Yep.
Next up, Tim Donst versus Filthy Tom Lawler. Filthy Tom Lawler did not come out in a mask. Didn't really come out dressed up that much. So,
hey, Filthy Tom had his new gear on, though.
He did.
Well, the famous artist, artist jacks on.
Yes, and this, I mean, the finish describes it. It was a time limit draw, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was a little curious when we had never heard, or I personally have never heard Steve Guy ever say scheduled for a 20-minute time limit. So the beginning, I'm like, is that clever Steve Guy foreshadowing?
Yeah, those come up every so once in a while, and it's like, what's going on? But yeah, that's what we end up getting. A 20-minute draw.
Yeah, I could have taken 5 more minutes, but I get it. I see where we're going, and I like it.
And we'll get to where we're going real soon, but before all that, we'll be back right after this commercial break.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
And we're back. So at this point, which I forgot to mention before, is this is where we went to intermission, and that's why we went to commercial break. But we came back to Big Twan Tucker versus Hornswoggle. I kind of had to go take a pee.
No, you didn't miss anything.
No. I said I kind of had to, but then once I think Swoggle came out first, whoever came out first, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go sit down. I'm gonna hold it in as best I can. I held it for the rest of the second half, but it was this first match that made me go, all right, I gotta see this. And it wasn't very long.
No.
But still, Big Twan Tucker and Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle won via a Steiner recliner.
Yes, the Steiner recliner.
Ended up getting a picture with Hornswoggle after show, and he didn't look too happy. I don't know whether it was because of me. I don't know whether it was because of the match with Twan or whatever, but I had to get a picture with the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast shirt that I have with him on it, naked, with the belt over his crotch like Shawn Michaels.
The internet title?
No, the major wrestling figure title.
Okay.
Originally, it was that, but they photoshopped the new belt in.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know if he was in a bad mood, if he was in a good mood. You never know with Horn. Maybe he might just be super focused. That Scott Steiner match is coming up.
Could be
quick, and he's probably just laser focused. That guy.
Sometimes I figure too, because it was at the end of the night. Like some of them are just like tired.
Oh yeah, that too.
They want to go to the after party and get drunk.
Yep.
Next up, we had Zach Thomas versus Eddie fucking Kingston. This I think, was exactly what we thought it was going to be. Unfortunately for Zach, he did lose via the back fist, but I think the story that's being told right now with Zach Thomas is he's tough.
Yeah, Zach Thomas is he's kind of the man. He's kind of that younger version of I don't say it's high praise, but kind of a younger version of like an Eddie Kingston, where he's got that toughness about him. He can dish it out, and he can certainly take it. You know, Eddie did everything he could to beat the living hell out of him, and Thomas kept coming back for more. There's a lot of guys that I can't wait to see Zach Thomas work with. I feel like he can work with some of the smaller, quicker guys, and I feel like he can work with the big dudes like Eddie Kingston, KTB, stuff like that. I don't think there's anybody that I can think of that I couldn't make I couldn't make like an educated guess that he wouldn't have a good match with.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's true about both of them, really.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Eddie can work with anybody.
I'm curious to see where we go next with Zach Thomas, or also, are we going to just see Eddie Kingston this year go up against AIW students?
Yeah, maybe. He's got. I feel like we've seen Eddie a lot. He's always been a regular, but I feel like whether or not he's really on the goodbye tour, maybe it's one of these where he's just going to come through and mow through students just to show people that even though he's getting near the end, he's still got it. Yeah.
I'm just hoping it's not one of those things like other wrestlers that I'm going to retire. Never mind.
No, I think when Eddie's done, he's done.
Yeah. Absolutely love Kingston. And like I said, I'm curious to see where we go with Zach Thomas. Next up, we had Bobby Beverly and Eric Ryan, the Young Studs, versus Colin Delaney and Cheech to Infinity and Beyond for the AIW Tag Team Championships. And there was a couple times in this match I thought we were getting new Tag Team Champions, and I was expecting everyone to go crazy. I was expecting the PME pop.
And for the Young Studs, I did hear at the beginning of the match that Eric Ryan had a fork come flying out of his boot. So I'm pretty sure that wasn't there for eating purposes, but somebody in the crowd told me that a fork landed up in their lap. So
that popped out on our side of the ring, and I know it's in a video because it was like, and I even went back and rewatched it after it happened. It just kind of pops out, and I couldn't tell at first whether someone threw it or whether it came out of Eric's boot, but it actually makes more sense that it came out of Eric's boot. Yeah, probably. He's got that little fork mess that I think all the forks that have been made into jewelry. So looking like something that Caden would make in his death lab. Should we throw forks in at Eric Ryan? God, I don't think we want to be throwing forks. Maybe sporks. Oh God, that'd be fun. Run through the taco shop and get some sporks. Something. Oh, we go to just any restaurant and grab plastic utensils. Yeah, well, let's make a good use of what we have. And unfortunately, the To Infinity and Beyond, they retained. Yep, Colin and Cheech. I think eventually those boys, hopefully, PME is going to catch up to them one of these days. But Colin and Cheech are the man until somebody says otherwise. And then it was after this match, To Infinity and Beyond continued to beat down the Young Studs until the Fuckets came out to make the save. Then the production came out to attack the Fuckets, leading to PME coming out and standing tall. But Colin and Cheech were able to grab their tag team titles. Because there were, I think, moments throughout this where everybody had the tag team titles and they held it in the air. And then it was decided that we will see the 4 of these men in the collective for AIW Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's everybody. It's everybody all at once. I eventually want to see one-on-one matches for these titles, but I guess we got to still pare down the contenders a little bit.
Let's face it, it's much like a WWE card. You're trying to fit as many people as you can on that card. So, yeah, I understand why we get a fatal 4-way tag match.
I'm all about it. I'm glad that as many guys are getting on that as possible, getting as much exposure for them personally and the company that they can get.
And on top of that, we don't know who's walking out champions.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
It was, just a regular one-on-one, or obviously with tag team, 2-on-2. You kind of have a predetermined thought in your head of who's going to walk out victorious or not. And I think adding 4 possibilities makes it go, well, the champ could retain, or, these people could walk out as tag team champs, or these people could walk out as tag team, or I don't know. I think, and it's WrestleMania weekend. AIW's not done a WrestleMania weekend ever.
Yep.
We could potentially see some title changes.
You could definitely play out all the scenarios in your head, and I don't think there's one of them that doesn't make sense. There's not one of those teams that would go, I don't think that works for them walking away with the titles.
Yeah.
I think they're all good for that.
Next up, we had Dominic Garrini versus Matthew Justice for the AIW Intense Championship. Another crazy fucking match for Matt Justice. Well, technically Dominic Garrini.
Yeah,
what do you think about it?
Is there ever a match that's just normal with that guy? He comes out, he's already doing 60 an hour. I mean, throwing Dominic over the barricade and jumping over himself, and he's one of those ones that if you're not head on a swivel when he's out there, somebody's going to land in your lap.
Fun little ending with all of a sudden Joshua Bishop's music hits. He comes out with Wes Barkley, distracts Dom, and Matthew Justice picks up the victory.
Yeah, the Rip City Shooters weave their magic to distract Dominic. I was to the point in the match where I did not want a screwy finish, but I get it. There's obviously something else going on here, and eventually Dominic and Bishop are just going to have the big blow off that we need. It's got to be some kind of crazy stipulation or something. I'm trying real hard to dislike Dom, but there's right when he got Justice up there on that top rope, I thought, this is it. I think they're going to switch the title. I think this is the night Dominic wins it, which AIW is really gotten pretty good at making you think that, at any given point in time, and, anything can happen. The titles can switch, stuff can get crazy. When Bishop and Barkley came out, I was not happy to see them, but I get it.
So Matthew Justice walks away the Intense champion, and then, we went on to our main event, PB Smooth and MJF for the AIW Absolute Championship. And once again, plug for the video, I got all of MJF's speech before the match. It's one thing I love about MJF, so I had to make sure I got the full video. So,
yeah, he was in his usual rare form where he's dogging on pretty much everybody, the city, we are, what kind of trash we are. What else am I missing? How stupid we are. Yeah, I've got to be missing something else. But
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm a big MJF guy. This match unfortunately suffered in the fact that it was right behind a Matt Justice match, because by the time you had gone through the highs and the lows of that Justice Dominic match, and then you get to MJF and PB, I just felt that the crowd was just dead at that point. Not dead from a not interested standpoint, but Matt Justice matches can exhaust you quickly. When he's just one spot after the other and one thing getting broken, and you just are worried about that guy's safety every time he does anything. and poor PB and MJF had to follow that.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for PB. He's been in that situation, winning the title and now defending it.
Well, PB won via full Nelson facebuster. And again, another plug for the video. I got everything at the end. The good 6-minute clip of what happened post-match. You had Tom Lawler come out and, bring up the fact that he challenged PB Smooth for the title for a match at Slumber Party Massacre. And PB pretty much accepted. But before he could get too far into it, Tim Donst came out, and he said he deserved a title shot after pushing Lawler to the limit in the time limit draw earlier. Then this prompted Matthew Justice to come out and to say that he deserved a chance to wrestle for the title at Slumber Party Massacre. And of course, AEW President Matt Wadsworth came out and then basically granted everybody a title shot. So at Slumber Party Massacre, we will have PB Smooth versus Tom Lawler versus Tim Donst versus Matthew Justice for the Absolute Championship. And if Matthew Justice wins, he will be the Absolute Intense Champion.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that all four of those guys are right. I think all four of those guys deserve a shot. Let's get it all done in one fell swoop.
And that was the show. Nothing else. I don't think I missed a match. I think that's pretty much everything.
No, I think all that you got all the story.
Yeah.
This was definitely Patamount to Fastlane, where we, it's time to get the storyline for the big event. I think they did a really good job of getting everything set in stone. We know what we're going to see for the most part, for anybody that's going or anybody that's going to watch on Fight, for the Mania show.
Yeah. Sad that I won't be there. Well, technically there is Wrestle Rave, but I don't know what that's going to be like as a Thursday show. It'll be kind of
I think Wrestle Rave is going to be its own entity, kind of like Wrestle Rager is, where it's kind of just a standalone. It's going to be more of a party atmosphere than it's going to be a storyline driven. It's going to be a bar show.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything wrong with it, and we'll see who calls off work on Friday.
Any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a solid show. I like AIW and the fact that there's storyline. I like that, I feel like if you miss a month, if you miss an event, you actually miss a lot. I feel like that matters. I like that we keep things going, that there's, that coherent storyline. So I had a good time. Looking forward to the Thursday night show in Mania.
What did you think about the first new venue of the year?
Oh, I think that you and I talked about this. I thought that place was fantastic. The room just felt huge to me. Huge. I feel like you could have had 8 or 10 rows of chairs, and I might be exaggerating. And it could have gotten done. I think Gauntlet's there.
It is.
If I remember correctly, and I think you could have 500 or 600 people in there for Gauntlet, and I think it's going to be. If we get 500 or 600 in there, Gauntlet's always a fun show anyway. I think it's going to be that much more enhanced if you get, you get those couple of surprise entrants and you get somebody that goes deep in the Gauntlet. That's always kind of an electric show. And with that many people there, it has a potential to be a really raucous crowd. I loved the venue. What'd you think about it?
Before I get into that, I will say Gauntlet has the potential of just being insane, just attendance-wise, because not only is that Gauntlet, but that's also the big anniversary show for M-Dog and J-Pro.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So you could potentially see even more people, but I kind of liked it. I'm trying to figure out where I would rate it. I really like the shows that have the bleachers, even though I don't sit in them. I feel like that adds like a different aesthetic to it. And especially
absolutely.
I think fans could, if they have to sit in like what would be considered the last row of this particular venue, this St. John the Baptist, like they might have a lot of heads in their way, but instead if they had something where there's bleachers, it's like, well, I don't have to sit in this last row. I can sit up here in the bleachers, and I could see over people's heads. Still, there was a lot of room, so like more people can fit in here, and I still think there was still plenty of room too for gimmick tables, which is something I'm always big on because
all the way around.
There's been too many venues that AIW's run since I've been around that it's like the last row is like right in front of the gimmick tables, and you're just squeezing your way through, and we've had 2 in a row or 3 in a row that haven't felt like that, and I love that.
Yeah, this almost felt like Akron, the one before, the day of the convention, where they had probably the most tables that I've seen. I felt like anybody that wanted a table to set up could, and I really, really like the setup.
Same here, and like I will become that's the next Cleveland show, but technically that's Wrestle Rave. But the first show after WrestleMania will be there. I'm really looking forward to it, and the calendar continues to fill up, new venues and whatnot. So it's a fun year for AIW. Any you'll throw out your social media plugs before we go?
I don't even know what my Twitter handle is, but you usually link it. So if That's you true. Want to hear more about whatever lousy takes I have and see photos of me and Philly Collins going corporate, pointing to the back of the WrestleMania sign at Fastlane, you can see that on my Twitter.
And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330, much like you can find this show at Wrestling Cheers, Facebook.com/Wrestling Cheers, Twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers, and Instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. We have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Said it once, and I'll say it again. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. And I'm going to put a little bit of emphasis one more time on the YouTube channel. We don't have a lot. I'm trying to do a little bit more with the channel, but please, if you have a YouTube account, go over there, subscribe. We'll add some more stuff. My goal is to get to 100 subscribers, mainly because we can get a custom URL, and I can say youtube.com/Wrestling Cheers, but right now, literally, it's youtube.com/UCRPWS4ZDHHJLTMGJ3.
You're just going to want to do a search for Wrestling Cheers.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I have in my notes, I have the links for everything that I've mentioned. But yeah, I would like to be able to just have it in there. So help us out, please. Follow us on YouTube. And follow all of our friends on the Trending Topics Network, or listen to them. All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcasting friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, The IndieCast, Center Stage. Apologies to Center Stage, because somewhere I deleted that out of my notes, and I did not mean to. Sobros Network, Big Gold Belt Podcast, Spotlight Series, and I've got your 5 stars. And also, Southern Underground Pro. Can't forget them. And check out our other, well, I guess they're not podcast, because this is where they would go. Other friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, Set Tap Photo, PowerSlam.tv. Use Wrestling Cheers, all one word, and get your first month free. Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, Wrestle Void, Keon Sports, Stay Tough, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even when you have a fork in your boot. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.